We started with a midweek with Southeastern 7-0. Seemed like 2 months ago. But we had a good game Tuesday night, and then we went over to Troy, and game one was rough, and we had the game, I think 4-0, and let the lead dwindle and left. We couldn't put the game away. We just kept. It was a game that just stayed close, and you got that feeling that if they got the break, we could go down, and that's exactly what happened. We ended up a walk-off home run. So that really, with a conference win streak on the line, you shouldn't even let that factor in, but it does. It factors in. Go back to the hotel, short night, couldn't sleep, went back out, and but we had a good game Saturday. I told the girls in pregame, I thought that it was like a tug of war, and the momentum was a little bit on their side. I thought it'd take us at least 2 or 3 innings to get the momentum back, but to stay tough, hang tough, and when we finally get momentum, once we get momentum, don't let go of it. And that's exactly how the game played out. We were down 2-0 at the end of 3. Top of the 4th, we scored 3. A huge hit by Laney Crater, followed by a hit and run where we had Maddie Hayden running from first, and Stormy hit the ball down the left field line, and we scored, took the lead 3-2, and then we never let up. And then we come out Sunday, got an early lead, I believe 3 runs, followed by 2 runs, followed by 4 runs, or 3 runs, followed by 3 runs. Anyway, got up 6-0, and then won in convincing fashion behind really good performance from Sam Landry. So that's kind of an overview of the weekend.
It's not like this is any different from what your team does, but to be able to respond the way they did after losing the way they did Friday, just what does that tell you in general about your club?
I like my ball club. I told it in pregame Saturday at the hotel, I said the next 2 days are going to be really fun because you're going to learn things about yourself that you don't know. And me as a coach, I'm going to learn things about you, my team that I don't know, and I don't know what those things are because that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. But at the end of this weekend, we're all going to know things we didn't know. And when the second game was over on Sunday, I said, Justin, what did you learn that you didn't know? He said, I learned we got a bunch of fighters, the kids that'll really fight when they're challenged. Because it was kind of testy, like in the line, shaking hands afterwards. There was some, good, friendly trash talk and nothing big, but just really, a little more heightened than normal. It was two really intense ball clubs. Troy and us after the end of that game, and I loved how our kids responded. Like we fought, like they were ready to go, and that's stuff you don't know till you get in that position. So that was one. I thought our pitchers really. Friday night we win. If we had 3 pitchers through, if any one of them is spot on, outstanding, we win the game. And none of the 3 could find their best self. But Saturday and Sunday, they all found their best self, I thought. So that was good. And then we learned we can win different ways. We can win with speed. We can win with a home run. And so I thought that was good.
Speaking of the hitting of the home run, can you talk about Lauren's game, especially on Sunday, with how she was?
Lauren Allred. Yeah, she's pretty good. She just keeps showing us, we started out the first week or 2, we say, is she lucky, Lauren, or is she really good? And there's no doubt about it. It's not luck because she's good. When you have 9 home runs and 3 strikeouts, and you're a freshman, that's a really, really good sign. And then she's just an RBI machine. Like she gets hits at the big moment, which is, I think she got 37 RBIs right now. And, not that many games and not that many at-bats. And she's in the 70s, 70 at-bats. So she's getting an RBI almost every 2 at-bats. So really a clutch player. And she can hit the home run on the high pitch. She can hit the home run on the low pitch. She said home runs on inside pitches. She said home runs on outside pitches. So she hits the ball in every quadrant of the strike zone. She's really a special player.
It seemed like you survived the loss. Marshall lost again, RPI-wise, which you went down 1 maybe to 11. Do you feel like, I'm sure you were not sleeping well Friday, as you said, but I mean, it seemed like you survived.
I could not I went to the hotel room and I could not sleep. At 4 a.m., I just took about a 25-minute shower, as hot as I could stand it, and then I slept till 6:30 and I woke up wide awake. So it's short sleepless night for me because it's just so frustrating to have a game that you know you should have won. You're the coach and you're responsible, and your team should have won, and we didn't win. And it's hard for me to lay my head down at night when that happens, but it's part of the game. And then I think the other thing you see it, and were we 16-2 in the conference. We've got a good conference this year. You know, we're number 6 conference in RPI. We're right behind the Big Ten. The Power Fives are the only thing ahead of us. You know, I was telling one of the conference coaches this morning, we can easily pass the Big Ten. If everybody in our conference commits to playing a hard schedule next year, we can pass the Big Ten. And that's saying a lot. We've got a really good conference. So I'm really disappointed anytime we lose. But then I look at the conference overall, and I think, how realistic is it for me to expect to go on the road and go undefeated? You know, those are 3 really good opponents: Troy, Texas State, South Alabama. We went 8-1 last year. We're 8-1 this year. I wanted to go 9-0. I expected to go 8-0 or 9-0, but it didn't happen. And it's probably more unrealistic to expect that than it is to expect to lose one. And I have to accept that and move forward.
Coastal hasn't always been an easy sweep. I mean, y'all had some issues. It doesn't almost make sense on paper, but what about that series?
Yeah, you know, you travel. When you go to James Madison, that's a hard trip. When you go to Coastal Carolina or App State, that's a hard trip. And you got student athletes a week before finals. Usually that series is a little later in the spring because of weather. When you go up there, and you know, we got kids with their academic side on their mind. They're tired from a long season. They're tired from a long semester of hard academic work. And there's just a lot of reasons that this won't be an easy trip. And I think their record's, 33-15, something like that. I mean, they're a really good ball club. They're in the 60s RPI. Anytime you're in the top 75 RPI, you got a nice ball club. And so this is not going to be an easy trip at all. The ballpark is unique. The wind usually blows out. There's a lot of home runs hit out of that park. And you know, a good coach. So nothing will be easy about this weekend, but we got to find a way to get wins.
Does that impact your pitching decisions, I would think, with a ballpark like that?
Yeah, you know, it does. They traditionally have been a really good hitting team on the drop ball, and you think, you know, when you go into that park and a short fence and a wind blowing out, well, we're going to stay away from rise ball, but it's almost a trap because they're really good at hitting the drop ball, and I'm sure this year will be the same because it's been that way ever since I've been in the conference. So you have to put some thought into how you want to approach their hitters, and then how you win and how you want to challenge them. And the park's definitely a factor. It's also a factor when you write your lineup because you want to put kids up there that can take advantage of the ballpark, especially if we get that wind blowing out. So it affects a lot of different things, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of neat when each park and each stadium has their own. I like that. It's kind of like baseball, you know, the Cubs or Boston or somewhere with a green monster, and so they got a unique field, and it'll definitely play a factor.
Where are you as far as, you know, positions and lineups and all that? It was not the same again. So I mean, are you kind of has anything changed in your mind as far as that, or is it just a day-to-day thing?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of like a politician. I'm all over the place, aren't I? I really don't know. I mean, here's the other part. I'm trying to, I mean, in my own mind, I'm trying to figure this thing out. And I think the one thing that we see today as coaches, we want discipline in our program. The days of making them run the bleachers, those are over. The days of, you know, running sprints, that's over. What you have now for discipline and to get the things to happen in your program you have as a head coach is you have bench and playing time, you know, and so there's a lot of reasons why you're putting that lineup around when you want to add more offense, you want to add more defense, you want to add. But sometimes too, it comes down to like getting just getting the players to buy into your way and buy into the system, and so. The lineup maybe you're seeing a little bit more fluctuation in lineups because of that added dimension as well, and the transfer portal. Like if you want kids to stay in your program, you've got to show faith in them. You've got to let them know they're a part of your future, and to be a part of your future, they need to be at least some part of your present. And so the lineup is. I feel like we're getting closer. I think I feel really confident that I understand our roster right now, but I'm not ready to commit to a set lineup today.